tough economic times means less funding for local police departments. America's favorite pastime comes to Rockbridge County, and elementary students travel back in time to the days of colonial Virginia. These stories and more coming up.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Rockbridge Report. I'm Cameron Steele.
And I'm Caroline Davis. Funding for state law enforcement is not what it used to be for Rockbridge agencies. But while other state departments have applied for close to $1 billion in stimulus money, the Lexington and Buena Vista Police Departments and Rockbridge County Sheriff's Office haven't applied for any. As local departments finalize their budgets, they are certain staff and major programs will sustain. All three jurisdictions hope to finalize their budgets by April before they consider requesting stimulus money.
The federal stimulus package may help Rockbridge County schools deal with a cut in state funds. Officials say the school system could receive up to $800,000 in stimulus funds. The money is part of a $365 million package, which will be shared by school systems across the state. Rockbridge schools are facing a $1.3 million budget shortfall because of cuts announced by the state earlier this year. Buena Vista's school board also is grappling with an expected budget deficit. The school system has been considering furloughs and other cutbacks, but Superintendent Rebecca Gates says no firm decisions will be made until Governor Kane signs the state budget and the school system knows exactly how deep its shortfall will be.
The federal stimulus package may help Rockbridge County schools deal with a cut in state funds. Officials say the school system could receive up to $800,000 in stimulus funds. The money is part of a $365 million package, which will be shared by school systems across the state. Rockbridge schools are facing a The board of the Rockbridge Partnership meets tonight. This after the head of the organization announced his resignation. Michael Webb will be leaving his position on March 13th. He resigned February 25th after serving just under a year. Webb is leaving to be closer to his family in Alabama. The news comes as a surprise to board members. At this time, the partnership does not know who will step into Webb's position.
No one likes to pay court costs and fine, but with the current state of the economy, more people actually can't afford to pay those fees. If payment isn't made in 15 days, the unlucky debtor's license is suspended and his debt is paid in full. But without a license, paying a fine and court costs certainly becomes more difficult. The district court clerk says the courts try to help struggling individuals pay fines by putting them on a payment plan.
On December 1st, Virginia becomes the 35th state to ban smoking in restaurants and bars. Reactions from local businesses and customers are mixed. The owner of the Palms says she is extremely pleased with the bill. Meanwhile, some worry revising the law to allow smoking in separated and ventilated rooms gives chain restaurants an advantage over local businesses. George Hugie, the Southern Inn, is not at all pleased with the change.
I personally think the passage of the law is somewhat ridiculous, but I also definitely think it's politics.
The smoking ban here will not be quite as strict as similar laws in other states. It allows smoking in restaurants and bars that have separately ventilated and enclosed smoking sections.
The Lexington Police Department increases efforts to keep its officers safe. Rockbridge reporter Brett Holton finds out how new information networking equipment can save lives.
The Lexington Police Department is applying for a $58,000 grant from the state to install laptops in its squad cars. These laptops will be a part of LINKS, a statewide law enforcement information network that could provide officers in the field with life-saving information.
If we pull somebody over, if we're doing a criminal investigation, or we want to find out if somebody has a criminal history, This system would enable us to go in and check criminal histories and find out if the person's basically been in trouble before.
The department received permission from City Council to apply for the grant at the beginning of February. Crowder says this program has been on his top priority list because it not only helps officers, but lightens Central Dispatch's workload.
The officers will have to notify them that they're on a traffic stop, but they won't have to utilize Central Dispatch to get that information that Central Dispatch would normally provide to them. It'll be right there at the officer's fingertips.
But the system also provides information on people who don't have criminal records, but may be involved in activities police officers should be aware of. This gave several City Council members pause before they approved the grant application because of what they called constitutional questions.
At what point do the police have the power to just gather information about people who have not necessarily committed a crime?
But the council went ahead and approved the proposal for the grant request, and the department could hear back from the state in as soon as 90 days. Crowder says that personally, this is one of the best things he could see happening for his department.
You know, officer safety is paramount to me. It always has been, and I want to keep my guys safe, and you know, they want to go home to their families just like everybody else does.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Brett Holton.
The main concern right now is that down the line, the repair costs for the equipment will come from the city's pocket, something Elistad says could get rather expensive.
Coming up, new businesses are booming over at the VMI Barracks.
And find out how tough economic times mean major changes to one of the country's largest horse centers. Stay tuned. One woman combines the love of gardening with an effort to feed struggling families.
Every House a Garden is a new program created by Peggy Dyson Cobb. With the help of local gardeners, it teaches low-income families how to create and maintain their own garden. These gardens will provide families with organic, nutritious vegetables.
Charming to come on out with your family and sit out on the hillside in a lawn chair or in the stands, watch a baseball game, have a hot dog and a Coke.
Every House a Garden is currently accepting applications for this year's session.
From the garden to the ranch, not even its outstanding national reputation can protect Lexington's Virginia Horse Center from the economic crunch. Rockbridge reporter Alicia Budich has the story.
Riders travel from across the country to participate in one of the Virginia Horse Center's 100-plus shows each year. And most of those who come once try to come back.
We our horses are happy here, so it's not uncommon for us to come down here for up to 10 shows a year.
Lifetime riders like Roden also say the staff at the Horse Center make the people happy, too. But like Roden, many are unaware that change is underway at the Horse Center.
The board has had us working towards a reorganization, a restructuring, and a slim down, if you will, probably for the last 8 or 9 months.
The board felt the need to slim down in light of the economic crunch. They asked the directors to streamline costs to brace the center in case of declining revenues.
And even to this point, we're not sure we fully see it noticeably. We do see some cutbacks, some very modest cutback.
In total, the Virginia Horse Center reduced their staff from a size of 40 to 32 people, saving the center about $250,000 in their $5 million annual budget. And while no one here would comment on the hardships of those now facing unemployment, they would comment on the future of the Horse Center.
It's just on the upswing now with everything that we're doing, so it's a very exciting time here.
But not everyone shares this optimism. Some people were hesitant to talk at all in light of the recent changes. One thing is for sure, change has already come to the Virginia Horse Center. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Alicia Budich.
Assistant Executive Director Shoup said the 8 workers who lost their jobs are having some success finding new jobs. The schedule at the center remains strong, though, with a horse sale and a trail competition this weekend.
For the first time this year, a bank opens in Virginia. This is also the 3rd bank to open in the country this year. Nearly 500 people attended Cornerstone Bank's opening ceremony on Saturday. The bank has actually been in business since mid-February. The current office is in Rockbridge Square, but the bank's CEO hopes to move to a permanent office in downtown Lexington. The community members believe the bank has a valuable niche in the county. New facilities on Virginia Military Institute's campus opened to the public last week. Rockbridge reporter Marissa Van Brunt takes you there to look at how these facilities are changing VMI life.
Renovated barracks, A new bookstore and the Keydek Canteen have VMI cadets excited about their growing university.
Just a little more, things would get a little more upbeat, a little more exciting around here.
The new facilities are the latest phase of a remodeling and expansion project, which is scheduled to be completed by VMI's 200th anniversary in 2039. Many academic buildings on the Institute's grounds already have been renovated. The new barracks, coupled with the other planned improvements to student housing, will allow VMI to increase the size of its corps of cadets to 1,500.
Slowly, we're going to work through the older portions of the barracks complex, totally renovate them. So that's a 2-year project. Once that's done, then we'll spread all the cadets out, and they'll have more room.
The new bookstore is part of the Barnes & Noble franchise and will provide cadets with a better venue to buy books and VMI gear.
A lot bigger, it's a lot nicer. We're a lot closer to the parade ground, which is really busy for a lot of our events, so it'll be a lot nicer, I think.
The new Keydek Canteen will provide students with more food options and offer a place to meet with fellow cadets, the community, and visitors.
Unlike the mess hall where you can have, civilian visitors, I guess, girlfriends, friends, everybody, this kind of provides that kind of alternative to meet with people.
The Keydek Canteen features sandwiches from Quiznos, coffee from Java City, and a Benet pizza grill. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Marissa Van Brunt.
Like the bookstore, the Keydek Canteen opens to the public. And if early crowds are any indication, it's a big hit, not only with the cadets, but the Lexington community as well. The Generals aren't the only athletes ready to play ball. More on that story when we return.
And snow and sunshine all in the same week? Take a look at your local weather forecast after the break. The Rockbridge Rapids baseball team opens its inaugural season at Captain Dick Smith Field in Lexington this summer. The college athletes come from 32 colleges across the country to showcase their talent for Major League Scouts. Many players hail from the county's local universities, whose seasons end in the spring. The team's general manager, Ken Newman, recognizes the recreational potential the team brings to the community.
And it'd be very charming to come on out with your family and sit out on the hillside in a lawn chair or in the stands, watch a baseball game, have a hot dog and a Coke.
At $5 a ticket, the games will offer affordable fun for area residents on a cool summer night.
The Washington and Lee basketball team proves they are able to come back even when they are down. After a season of highs and lows, they have played in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference Finals. Rockbridge reporter Farrell Ulrich has the story.
What does it take to get a basketball team to the ODAC Finals? Ask anyone on the Washington and Lee men's basketball team, and they'll tell you it's a combination of dedication and teamwork.
Well, we didn't really expect it too much going into the last couple of games of the season. We had been on kind of a slide. We lost 9 out of 10, and we got together and said, if we work hard enough this week, we can get these wins.
The Generals lost in the ODAC championship 66-62, but they had a very strong season overall. They won 16 games. That's the most the Generals have won in a season since 1989.
For the last couple years, we've had a real understanding that the process really matters, that you have to be willing to do the things it takes to win before you actually win.
And that's the attitude that the Generals and also their fans have.
It was great to see them, just even get past the first round, and they really fought the whole time, so it was really fun to watch.
We had to pick ourselves up at different points in the season. So, there's always a challenge for us, but, that's sort of one of our trademarks, is being able to come back when we're down, so.
Guys are tired, guys are banged up, maybe they, man, I don't know if I can do this. But they didn't want to let the guy next to him down. I thought that those were the things that made this team special.
For the Rockbridge Report, I am Farrell Ulrich.
The Generals are losing 6 seniors this year, some of whom were this season's key players, but they hope to have the same success and more next season.
With Sunday's snowfall, March certainly rolled in like a lion, but this week at least will end with warm weather and sunny skies. Today's temperature of 54 is almost 3 times warmer than the single digits we faced a couple mornings ago. But just wait until tomorrow when the high will be 64. The overnight low will be 45, but an unbelievable 78 degrees Saturday will greet us. The weather continues to be beautiful Sunday, although storms threaten in the evening. Despite the 30% chance of rain, it should still be about 72 degrees. Those showers stick around overnight, giving us a rainy start to the work week. Monday, which will have a high of 60 degrees. Students and teachers dress in colonial garb to learn lessons from the past.
Find out what those lessons are when we get back. Talk about a blast from the past. Teachers help students learn about colonial Virginia by recreating the 17th century.
The annual fair takes Rockbridge reporter Monica Chin back in history.
Handling a delicate quill and bottle of ink. Unraveling the art of hand weaving. Or tackling the task of spinning wool don't sound like lessons that students should be learning in a present-day elementary school. But this is exactly what Effinger Elementary students learn at their Colonial Day celebration. Effinger teacher Catherine Brush started this annual event 8 years ago. School principal Melanie Falls appreciates the day's educational goals.
She started this because part of the 4th grade SOLs were to talk about colonial life, and she realized that kids had they just didn't have any background knowledge at all about what it meant to live in colonial times, and so she decided to make it come alive.
These activities, however, enrich not just students, but teachers as well.
I was just over at the hand weaving, and I've never done that before, and so I just was practicing, and I now know how to hand weave.
And they all agree that getting these students out of the classroom encourages a higher level of learning.
It really shows them exactly how things is done, how things is made, and how the older people back in the days did things. So yes, I really think hands-on is great.
Since colonial times, things have markedly changed. 3-point hats have been traded in for baseball caps, hemlines have risen, and hairstyles are definitely different. But one thing has remained in style: learning. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Monica Chin.
The costumes actually belong to the school. A grant from the Rockbridge Schools Foundation helps Effinger's costuming department track down the period clothing. Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of the Rockbridge Report.
Be sure to visit our website at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
Good night.